The pinnacle of F1 gaming modding has arrived. The Virtual Racing Cars, or VRC, Formula Alpha 2025 is released. Let's check it out. Now this car has a million features. We discussed it last year with the 24 car and the year before that with the 23 and the 22, but last year it was a big change. The car released with a README manual of instructions. This car is no different, and the manual has 25 pages. Now, every single one of those is stacked with information, so we're going to quickly run you through the most important things to note. So guys, let's try and smash 1,000 likes on this video. I'd love to hit 1,000. It helps the video do well in the algorithm, so I'd appreciate a like. Also, subscribe for more. We recently hit 120k subs following on from the hack a couple of weeks ago. Also, I want to try and reach 125 by the end of the year, so subscribe if you're new. Also, one thing to note, guys, comment down below, have you tried the car? I want to get a discussion going in the comments. So comment below, give me your thoughts and opinions. Watch the video also, and kind of if you disagree with my thoughts at the end, let me know, because I want to kind of get some discussion going so everyone in the comments can go see for themselves what this car's about, pros, cons, because it is a pay mod after all. So guys, if you want to buy this, I do recommend going down there to see exactly what people are saying. So, in the manual we have a bunch of instructions. Now this is the final of the ground effect era Formula 1 cars that are being made by VRC. Of course, next year we have the change of regulations. So this has been the final of a 4-year kind of cycle with the 22, 23, 24 and 25 cars. Now this one is the cherry on top, a 1,000 horsepower machine. So very important to note, there is an installation list of instructions, guys. Please pause the video and do what it says to install and run this mod correctly. So we get to the first of the instructions regarding ignition, start and drive. Now you need to enable extended controls for this, and in that menu you can assign ignition and start buttons like in the past, but this year you can actually use a toggle to automate the system so you don't have to do anything at all. It explains how the steering wheel dash display works. Again, if you want to go in detail, feel free to pause, bring up the car in the sim yourself and kind of one-to-one check what each thing is. And yeah, it's really interesting, really practical. You can assign buttons to also adjust the dash and change it, and also show or not show relevant information if that is your preference. Now this year, more than ever, we have 9 steering wheels. We've had 2 new additions to my knowledge, which is going to be the new Williams wheel from this season, and I believe the Kick Sauber wheel is also new. I could be wrong on that one, but I believe so. In the past we had Red Bull, Alpine, Ferrari, Mercedes and McLaren, and the old Williams, of course, with the dash fixed onto the cockpit, which is what I've run in my alternate championship series. So yeah, I think we have 2 new additions and they all look insane. They all work insane. I've already driven this car. It's incredible. It gives you a rundown like before with the dash. You're also going to get an explanation of how the LEDs work on the car. And as always, we've had this before, but you're going to have a whole bunch of miscellaneous and visual options. You can turn the halo on, off, or make it transparent. You can also change the windshield. Those, though, are not really massively new features. Now, this is new. Very interesting this year. Now, I love this feature. This is like a real simple thing, but it makes such a difference. Now, I don't know if this is by design, on purpose, or by accident. Basically, VRC Formula Alpha has had 4 cars in its past, 22, 23, 24, 25. Now, according to this, the 22 car was based on an Alpine, and if you choose the 22 car on the sound mix FA22, that's going to be that car, that mod from 4 years ago, which has an Alpine sound bank. If you go for 23, it's Mercedes. 24 last year was Honda. This year it's Ferrari. So you're going to get all 4 power units, and they've basically brought them all into the same mod. You can actually interchange the sounds, and also there's an audio mix option to change from TV to driver, a bit like the F1 game, which has the same thing. I use the driver preset, but for this I'm going to be using TV. But basically TV has more exterior additional details. Driver mix is more from the cockpit view inside the car kind of sound style. So this is really cool. A very simple fix, but not even a fix. A very simple presentation which gives you more options for free, because it's stuff that already exists in this world in past mods. They basically brought it all into this one, and you can select which car mix you want. It also gives you a list of recommended sound settings to be one-to-one accurate in terms of car sounding exactly what you want. Also driver tones, because you have this year a few extras like DRS activation beep, optimal gear beep, shift sound as well. So there's a few little extras in there, which are really cool. Improved visual damage. There's actually 3 modes this year for the damage. You can break left end plate or the right end plate or the entire front wing altogether. The nose cone, to my knowledge, stays intact, so it's only affecting the front wing exclusively. But if you do crash, you're going to get engine smoke, engine failure. You're going to get other things like, for example, the steering is going to be broken, so the wheels will be on the car, but if you turn, you can feel that the car's all broken in terms of direction. So yeah, really nice expanded, I'd say, depth on the damage. Now we have a very special page, extended config, false options, which is what we go back to before, where I mentioned about you can assign steering wheels to set cars and liveries, but also the same goes for the power unit bank sound. So basically, if you want to have those Mercedes powered cars sound like a Merc, you go ahead and assign in the options to do that. Now I know how to do this because I can mod this game, but if you don't, it explains how to do it. But also my prediction, my expectation is that when you download a mod for this game, for this car, let's say if you download the McLaren, my assumption will be the mod will have the steering wheel and the sound bank already applied into the text file, so you won't have to do that yourself. We have some new cameras this year, and of course the gyro cam has been a very big thing in the last year or so, and we do have a replicated version to some extent of that. So we have a gyro cam on the cockpit surface, which kind of rotates and flicks forward and back. We also have a gyro on the offset T-cam, which goes from side to side. And I believe there's a few extras which I haven't quite found yet, but those are the 2 that obviously we most know about. Now, tyre compounds this year, another really nice touch, which goes back to the engine sound adjustments. We have a C6 compound this year, but not just that. You can actually grade the colors, because as you know, we have C1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 compounds, and you have to choose the spectrum on which you run the white, yellow, red coloring on the tires. So you can now actually, on a toggle, just slide them and allocate them as you want. So let's say if you're Imola and you have a C4, C5, C6, you can basically toggle to move the compounds down and select the softer compounds with those corresponding colors. And then if you're at Spa, you can move it back up to, let's say, C2, C3, C4 to get the right colors on the correct compound. So very nice, small adjustment, but it makes such a difference. Also, you get the optimal operating window for all these tires. It does note the wets are not fully supported for competitive play. Now, aero packages, we've had this before. You've got very high to very low, medium in the middle. So very high, high, medium, low, very low. And those all have their corresponding visuals with the car, like other mods in the past, historic mods, of course. And yeah, this does no different. Does the job as it says on the tin. There's a few extras as well, like visual extras, like for example, the cooling louvres, which are really nice, a very small touch. Also, you've got the tape on the car to kind of seal the edges so the aero is pristine and optimal. Also, it doesn't mention it, but the actual wings move, like you have flexi wings, like the front wing genuinely goes up and down. I think we had this last year, but it's again been reworked and improved this year. So the front wing, under load dips and then it kind of comes back up. Also, the rear wing really shakes and vibrates, and you can see that from the rear view where the car bottoms out and you get all the sparks and the rear kind of shaking, and you do get that kind of flexi rear wing deceleration as well, which is really, really awesome. So there's so much detail here. Now we're going to get technical. Suspension, okay? Now this isn't my realm of expertise. There's a lot of text here which I don't fully understand what it means, but just know the entire suspension, roll bar systems, it's been really meticulously crafted to really replicate the real life systems. We have the return of plank wear, which again, if you wear your plank out too much, it will disqualify you from the sessions and your lap times won't count. Very nice touch. Again, the plank wear is not a default feature in the game, so this has been added into the setup menu. We then have pedal maps. I can't remember fully if this is new or not. I don't think it is new, but we have different settings. We have 5 pedal maps available. We have a wet weather mode, low, balanced, high, and high plus. And you have the corresponding graphs for each one. And this is something I actually do have to deal with in this video, which you'll see later. So we now have torque mapping. Before we had pedal maps, of course, in terms of how you want to basically have that power delivery when you press the pedal and how that works. This is the actual engine torque mapping. So what the power delivery is going to be like when you're applying a throttle, kind of putting the power down. Also affects engine braking as well. So this is something that takes a lot of finesse, precision, fine-tuning, to really get it right. Very important. And then we have power unit modes, which there's 7 available. You've got recharge, quali, formation lap, start, slow, race, and race plus plus. Now with these you're going to get different engine pros and cons. They're going to give you different power deliveries, torque outputs, whatever it may be. You're going to feel it, and each one has a specific use case, let's say. So yeah, you're going to see me use a few of these in this video. You're going to see me use the race plus, the race plus plus, also the recharge and the quali mode as well. So we're going to kind of dabble with those a little bit. We have the return of the hybrid system, aka the strap modes. I found this a little bit complicated last year, and I still don't fully get it. And in this video, you're not going to fully see me use it to its full capacity. Let's just say there's, I think, like 9 preset strap modes which are already there, and I just end up using those because they are working pretty damn well and they're fairly consistent. So I'm not going to change something that's not broken because I don't have enough knowledge to change it. So yeah, for those of you that really want the details and sweat it hard, you can adjust your own strap mode power deployment. So basically you can set it up to deploy in different areas. If you don't like the car deploying battery at, say, a specific corner exit, you can basically scale it down and kind of apply some more elsewhere to kind of balance it out. So yeah, really, really cool this is back, of course. And yeah, this is a very unique feature. This year we have thermals in the power unit. You'll see me actually do this at one point where I had a crash and the engine started to get really hot and we actually started smoking. So if your car sits idle, it's going to get too hot. So basically, either switch the car off or go and drive, but don't leave the car sitting idle. So now brake-by-wire is a big thing this year as well. It's not something I dabble with massively in this one because I actually was quite happy with the default braking modes. Braking feels pretty nice in this car, and just by simply adjusting the brake migration for me was fine. I really enjoyed just tweaking the migration a little bit from 1 to 2 and just kind of getting that balance right. So I didn't really have any use for this, but it's more depth and additions to the braking system if you so wish to have it. And then of course we have the return of differential, preload, mid, entry, corner, exit, whatever it may be. It's all there. You can adjust each individual setting. Again, this is getting very complex and even stuff that I don't fully understand. So if I ever really want to understand it, it's all there for me to be basically explained and understand it. But yeah, you can adjust every single one of these settings. All you need to know, all I do is basically assign a dash or a button on my wheel and just kind of adjust it. The only one I adjust was the mid because the entry exit for me is okay. The mid, sometimes you want to make a few changes for certain corners, but that's about it for me in terms of where my knowledge resides. And that is pretty much it. Like, I'll be honest, there's 2 versions of the car. As always, we have the standard version, which is made for the original Assetto Corsa. So if you have Assetto Corsa, the old one, standard version, then you use the regular Formula Alpha. But if you have Assetto Corsa Content Manager, if you have that version of the game, run the latest version and run the Formula Alpha CSP version. That's made for Content Manager. It has more depth, more settings, and that's how you're going to basically experience this car to its full capacity. So guys, do get Content Manager to experience this car in its full glory. Now, here we are in the sim, and a lot of you guys don't actually know how this works. And Content Manager for Assetto Corsa is the same process as the standard version, but it looks a bit more presentable. So with your mouse, you're going to go up to the right side of the screen. Now, over here, if you have Dev Apps enabled, which you must have, Google to see how to do that. But for this one, you want to go to the app shelf. In the app shelf, you want to install Extended Controls, which is a bit further down, I believe. At the bottom here, you can see Extended Controls. Now, I already have that installed. I'm going to quickly just do a live update for you guys. So there we go. It's already updated. So if we go down to Extended Controls and try and dig it out, here it is. So this is where you assign all of your buttons, literally everything. So take some time, go through and basically map these buttons to your wheel, depending on which ones you want to use and what you prefer. But yeah, there's a lot of buttons here and quite a bit to get dialed in. Now, I've applied some settings. I want to quickly just run you through them. You can also see I've left the tower in the left, just next to my camera, so you guys can see all the settings I'm running. So, for example, I don't have enough buttons for everything on my Fanatec Club Sport V2, but you can see we still have enough that we can change, a few things. So brake migration, we've also got the bias, or the B-bal, as they call it, of course, in F1. Elsewhere, we've got the diff, mainly for mid-corner. That's the one that I've changed because that's the one that we're going to use the most if we do use it. Elsewhere, we've got the engine brake mapping, also assigned. Then power unit modes, we've got the strap mode buttons, which we've also got assigned, which I don't know why they're going 2x2. I've never quite understood why it does that. That's not ideal, but I'll try and figure out a reason why. Also, we've got the actual power unit modes, which does go 1x1, which is a bit more productive. So, yeah, then we've also got, of course, battery and DRS, pit limiter, activated, deactivated, got the camera change button. And yeah, I think that's pretty much everything in terms of that's relevant. So, yeah. Let's see. I'm looking forward to this one. Now, the engine's getting too hot. Now, I actually have buttons to kill the engine, ignition and starter, but because I have the auto setting applied, we can't actually kill the engine. So, strap modes aside, I'm not going to mess with brake shapes. Obviously, we've got the plank wear as well, and just general info. But yeah, if we go to the setup menu, we have an Imola setup. This is actually one of the setups that comes with the mod. Now, I'm not going to load it just yet. I want to basically try the default setup first. Now, one thing I want to do before we start is actually adjust my camera settings. Now, again, if you scroll over to the right side, this is going to be obviously available to everyone. You go to the onboard settings. The first thing I'll do is auto position, which gives you this. You can then adjust things a little bit. So I'm going to raise this height a little bit, and I'm going to just increase the field of view a touch to give a bit more feeling of speed, which I think could be quite fun. I'm going to go a little bit higher and pitch it down a little bit, like so. I reckon that'd be fine. Maybe a little bit high, but all good. Let's run with this and let's see how it looks. We'll turn that off and we'll get started. So, here we go. Now we're already in recharge mode. We're in strap 7, I believe. We'll leave strap 1 for a hot lap. For now though, we're just going to kind of run around in the lower mode and just get a feel for the car. Now on Assetto Corsa, on Content Manager, there is a thing called neck effects, which kind of simulates, real head neck movement. So that's where you're going to see a bit of a difference in terms of the look to apex and how the head shakes and moves. So that's what it is, if you may be wondering. Also, that is available on the Content Manager custom shaders patch. Let's get to it. I think this is a good track for a test because you've got lots of curbs. It's a track that requires good aggression to drive the car on the limit. But I love how out the box, we are on soft tyres, but out the box, it feels extremely drivable and intuitive. Obviously, I'm not expecting a massive difference compared to last year's car, as I say that. 360 there for the boys. Right, what's my clutch button? There it is. Got the clutch. Get the anti-stall out. As I was saying, it's not a massive overhaul compared to the last car. I think it's just a really strong, solid evolution. And that's what it's all about. So I think that the inherent handling traits from the 24 car are still going to be there. Hence why we're not learning a new car altogether. Right, we're going to go up to push on the engine mode. And let's just see what we can do. I'm going to move the B-bal back a little bit to 54. Picking up big speed already. Tamburello. A little bit hesitant to get the power down there. Wasn't really sure what sort of traction to expect after spinning the car into Villeneuve. A little bit conservative, plenty of curb space to run it. A little bit wide at Tosa, and we bin it again on the clutch, just to cut out the anti-stall. Fire up first gear, try and get out the grass. Another little 360, but we'll get back on track. So I've taken a cool down for the rest of the lap. We're going to go back into push mode here, and we're going to try again. And we'll see if we improve. I will also light up the dash for you guys after I finish this run. I want to get a few laps done first so you guys can see a little bit better. Right, let's give it another crack and let's see what we do. Here we go. There's way more grip than that. Just need to trust myself, trust the car more. Into Villeneuve again. All over the curb there, try to take a big chunk of it. This time we had a bit of a moment. Easy on the power, out of Tosa. Bit too much curb on exit. Uphill towards Piratella, turn 9. Carry more speed through there as we plunge down into Acqua Minerale. Oh, just bottomed out a little bit. Bottomed out on the curb. And again, we throw the lap away. We'll take a quick recharge. Yes, that's better. That's more like it. Same mistake again. The car just bottoms out. Here we go then. Carrying way more speed into Tamburello that time. That's more like it. That's serious business right there. That's a bit of commitment for you. Into Villeneuve. Back end. Tyres now, you may see a yellow, but it's the exact same compound. It's a C4 tyre. I've just basically changed the actual colouring of the tyres. So let's give this one another shot. Here we go. Let's try and put a lap together, shall we? Also, you may notice the obvious. The halo column is now gone. I was having a bit of visibility trouble, so this makes it a little bit easier for us. Whoa. Back end a little bit loose there into Villeneuve, but we held it well. This time we hit our apex at Tosa, and we get a decent exit. A little bit of brake migrations helping well. Up towards Piratella. Just throw it in. Have the confidence. We'll take it a little bit easier into Acqua Minerale. Still bottoming out, you can really feel it, but we keep it on track. So it's all legal, all valid. Into the chicane. I'm a little bit hot there. And bin it again. Wow. This car is very different in terms of the power application out of slow corners. It's really sensitive. Like, you really have to cut it fine to not do that. Like, you have to have minimal throttle input to avoid spinning. Mission complete a lap continues. Just want to double check all my settings are correct, which they are. Got the DRS sound enabled. Lovely stuff. Right. Let's see how this one goes. Back end a bit loose at all times, but we keep it on track, and that is all that matters. Let's continue. That was a very nice Villeneuve. Turning in super early into Tosa there, and actually finding quite a bit of grip on the front. 10.5 down on the Delta, but it's all good. Don't really care about that right now. Hence why there's no Delta bar on screen for you guys to look at, just the one on the dash. That's a bit better through there. I tried to attack the first apex a bit more. Lost a little bit on the exit. Trying to lock up over the curbs. My God, I'm barely putting any throttle on. I can just feel the rear slipping. Luckily, we're through and out the other side. Another 2 Ravazzas as we just catch the left front on the way in for the first one. You can hear my voice rambling because of the false feedback. But we finally get a lap together. And it's going to be a 1:16.9. Okay, so we have a reference. We have a benchmark. Now, I said before, there's a setup here which I want to try. Now, I don't know if it's going to change anything, but it's for Imola, so let's see if the car moves. Look at the tyres, look at the suspension, let's see if anything moves. Just the tyres have changed. Let me check a few things. High downforce kit, 10 litres of fuel. Okay, so it has changed a few things. Interesting. Okay, yeah, bias 58. Okay. Right, okay. And I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, I have no idea what I'm changing here, by the way. Like, all of this is just bonkers, okay? I have very basic setup knowledge. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Let's give this a go. And obviously, I'm assuming we are on the C5s. No, we're on C6 tyres. Okay, let's go. Okay, way too much curb. Nice. Lovely ride over the curbs there at Tamburello. Now into Villeneuve. Yeah, car's way more planted, way more stable, of course. A C6 tyre will do that. A bit deep. And wide out of Tosa. And that's that part of the lap in the bin. This neck effects for the cockpit view is sort of throwing me off a little bit because I think I'm out of the corner and I'm not quite. So I'm ended up like straightening the wheel too early on the exit when I'm not actually out of the corner just yet. Aquamarelli just nicked the right front. Especially here, I can really notice it. Because I turned in for the first part and then I think the second part is done, but it isn't. Very conservative through Tamburello. Didn't trust myself one bit. And at the minute, you need trust to drive this car on the limit, which I don't have. Into Tosa, all good. Just watch the exit. The curbs are very slippery, especially those that are traction zones. The fast stuff is supreme. The car just works. There we go. Finally getting Aquamarelli together. Now Variante Alta. Over the curbs. Oh, whenever I have a good lap, there's like 2 areas in the lap I can't do, and it's the 2 traction zones. You have to stay off the curb here because the exit curb is really slippery, especially the green stuff. But even still, I just get too throttle eager, and I feel like I'm not even pressing it that much, but I'm having to really train my brain to change the muscle memory because I have such bad habits hardwired into me from other games. This is proving such a challenge. And don't get me wrong, I'm certain part of the reason is because I can't drive cockpit view because I don't do it all the time. It's not something I frequently do. But I don't struggle this much. Like, after a couple laps I get used to cockpit view. It's just because it's a massive challenge. Like I said, I think more so the cockpit view itself, it's the neck effects that I have. I really like them because they're quite realistic. They're just quite difficult to get used to when you're driving. It's a weird sensation. Maybe you guys can get that feeling through the video of, you know, the head movement, but like this is really cool. The way the head kind of moves to the left, but I keep leaving space to the apex thinking that I'm turning enough when I'm not. Pull out CJ.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Right, come on, let's try and hook this up. That was a very nice Tamburello, very committed on the limit. Excellent Villeneuve, good stuff. It's a really good start so far. Tosa is a little bit wide of the mark, but it's still pretty decent. We kept the speed pretty high throughout and got a really good exit. One of our better ones. I reckon that could be sick through there. Piratella, but this is a supreme lap so far. Bit too curb heavy on the inside there. Frustrating. Right, avoid the exit curb, watch the traction, and now we just light it up on the exit. Come on then. Down towards the 2 Ravazzas. That curb, if you drive on it, just wants to kind of drag you out off track. Second Ravazza, inside curb, helps rotate the car. Up to the line we go. Wait for it. And there it is, 1:15.1. Finally we get a lap. It wasn't perfect, but it was supreme up until Aquamarelli. Then it kind of fell away. But that's pretty decent. I reckon a 14 is quite easily doable if we just sort out Aquamarelli. Now, the engine map is something I don't actually have a button assigned for. It's not in the extended controls. So you can see there, it can only be changed while in the pit lane. So I'm going to change this because basically you can see there, the highest setting will yield the maximum torque possible at the corresponding accelerator position and less aggressive power drop-off. So I'm thinking if I go to maybe a low engine map, that should be a little bit smoother in terms of exits, I would say. Obviously, I don't know for certain. Also, my strat has actually reset here, strat map 1, which we're going to use. But yeah, I've had a little look, and the pole time this season, which we did in the episode, of course, on the series, a 1:14.6 from Piastri was the pole time, IRL. So I feel like we'll give this a shot. I believe they were on C6 soft tyres. I can't fully remember, but I think we should be okay. Oh, what a challenge. Wow. Insane, man. What a vehicle. What a car. So, welcome to Spa-Francorchamps. Now, this one, I want to do something different. I want to basically do a bit of a stint. A race stint. I don't want to just hot lap and keep making mistakes. I want to drive the car and enjoy the car. So, we're going to make a few adjustments here just to get things dialed. So, we're going to go for a hard tyre. We're going to go for a C2. I'm just going to try and run around this track and kind of get used to it, understand the car a bit more. This one's a bit less traction heavy, only really the bus stop and turn 1. The rest is quite free flowing, so we'll get to enjoy the car some more. So yeah, let's see. I think it should be fun. Now, another thing I want to try for this one is actually a different sound. Now, we've done the 25. We know what the 24 sounds like, of course, with the Honda Power Unit. I actually quite liked the 23 with the Mercedes engine, so we're going to go with that. I'm also going to try a different steering wheel. Now, for this one, I love the kick. But I want to try one that's new this year, and that's the Williams, which is going to be quite interesting. Now you may notice we have a bit more camera shake, and that's actually because I've turned the neck effects off. So we may have more camera shake, but hopefully the head movement should be less when we turn to corners now. So it should be a bit more natural in terms of what I'm expecting in terms of, you know, movement through the corners. And yeah, this seems a bit more intuitive. So let's see how we get on at the minute. Just going to try and get these tyres up to temperature. I also want to try a few different power unit modes in this one, especially in this race stint. We have default fuel, 50 litres, on this compound. Let's see if Pullman's flat. Wow, easy flat already. I mean, we are in low power mode, but even still, that's insane. Lock up into turn 1. All good though. We get our apex, having to fight the back end though on the power. C2 hard tyre, of course. Not the best for grip. All good, though. Bit of derating going on. You could hear the car kind of choke out in the second half of the straight. Oh, my God, wall hit. Right, let's try again, shall we, and get a little race run together. I just want to do lots of laps and try to enjoy this car some more. I'm loving it, it's just I keep making mistakes. I want to just try and put a little stint together and just kind of build some consistency, really. That's all I'm looking for at this stage. But, you know, credit to the car itself. It's a massive challenge to drive. It really is. Definitely feels more on that sim end rather than the simcade or anything like that, even remotely close to that. Right, very early braking for Lecom. Just going to try and get a lap in and get something to build on. Don't want to overdo it, if possible. Ooh, okay. Not quite flat, in a bit of a higher mode. Floor's bottoming like crazy down this straight. Right, can we get the lap done and put together? About to find out. Definitely helps doing a lower gear, it seems, for traction reasons. 147 as we open up our account. Our wheels are vibrating like crazy on the straights, so it's like a constant just back end vibration going on. Into the bus stop, back end nice and stable through the first part. Good traction through the second part. There we go, nice little 1 second improvement. Honestly, even better through turn 1 this time. Obviously did use DRS down the pitch straight, but ooh, still the back end wants to kind of overtake the front. Into Lecom there, just have to watch the back end on entry. Could have got the power down a bit sooner there, through turn 8. Oh, bit of slide there through 9 as we just clip the inside curb. Almost flat through there. Into the bus stop, a little bit of a rear slip on the way in, but we gain time overall. Lovely stuff. Right, so We're going to a recharge mode for a lap or two, and we'll come back to this. I've just clocked, actually, literally 10 seconds after, because of that turn 1. I wonder if this is a flat spot. This what I'm feeling must be a flat spot, because it's getting worse. I actually can't believe that. That's completely, like, fried my brain. Surely you can hear that on the microphone. That's bonkers. Right. I want to just try a few more modes here. So I want to go back into a race. I want to go race plus plus for this one. And I want to just see what we can do here. Let's give it some beans. I'll go a little bit further back on the B-bout. But there's lock up again. Trying to avoid as much as possible to not make the flat spot any worse. So race plus plus should be an increased power mode for race trim. And you can see already just the lap time we're gaining, the vibration is getting worse. So every time we lock up at a flat spot, definitely is getting way worse. Like, this is a little bit concerning. I'm also entirely out of battery for some reason. I swear I was at 100%, so that must have bugged out visually. I wasn't checking per se, so I didn't really have my eye on it, but I knew we was at full charge for the start of the lap, so I'm assuming it's a visual glitch because we're still gaining time. A little bit of time gain there where we messed up last time. Same goes for this corner. Lovely stuff so far. Let's try and get this into a mid to low 44 if possible. To be fair, it could even be a high 43 because we're going to have battery for the entire lap available to us. So we'll gain all the way to the line. Oh, this is good fun though. On the limit. Everywhere now. Giving it maximum beans. Right, do we have any deployment left? Looks like we're losing a little bit. So we may have to settle for that mid 44 after all. The vibration's crazy. I need to box to just basically try and fix these tyres. Another huge lock up there. That's not going to help things one bit. A little bit eager on the throttle there through the bus stop. A little bit scruffy, but still 44.7. Not bad at all. Let's go for a hot lap, shall we? Right, same again. If we go to load, there is a spa setup available. So we are going to throw that on. We'll have a quick browse to see exactly what it has. So C4 softs. I'm guessing the compounds are realistic to the real life weekend and what's available. But yeah, fuel is also 10 litres. We're going to see what we're going to work with. The low downforce package. Braking as well on pretty interesting settings there. Balance 58. Okay, let's try this. Let's see what it's like. Should be fun. I'm going to trust all the settings here and just hope it works well. And let's see what we can do. I'm going to quickly check the pole time from this season and get a reference. Mate, I have no idea why that happens. Why is it that every track has a corner where it just bites? I cannot turn into Les Combes. I just turn and the back end just goes. Why? Why is Les Combes impossible to turn in? Like, I just cannot turn in. I put the wheel in and I can't explain to you just how humbling this experience is in general. Like, this entire car, both tests we've done, like, sure, I can drive this car, but when it comes to pushing this car, I can't do it. Like, it's extremely humbling, genuinely. Makes you feel like you're terrible at this and you're no good at all. That's a good thing. It's good. It's a good challenge. It's like the tires go ice cold on the Camel Straight. Like, you can really feel it. They just lose all temperature and you've got nothing when you get to Les Combes. Like, you have no tires. It's insane. there we go. Not a great lap. 43.1. Oscar's pole lap at 140, I think 0.6 this season. So, but Les Commissaires, it wasn't too bad of a lap. There was a little mistake at turn 8 at Rivage, but you get the idea. This car is an absolute beast. Now, small confession, I did cheat. I changed the setup. I switched from a low downforce package to medium just so that we had a bit more of a stable rear wing. So bear that in mind. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully I covered most things for this car. And I want to know if you guys have tried it. Honestly, it's simply the pinnacle of F1 modding, period, on any game. Like, you're not going to see anything better. So, guys, I'll leave a link down below to the car. Go check it out. Go download it. It does cost some money, but trust me, it's worth every penny. And as you saw, it just simply has everything. And it's a proper simulating challenge. It's really tough to drive. Simple as that. There's no arcade about it. It's a challenge. And it's a lot of fun pushing yourself to get a lap time with this beast. But guys, I'll leave it there. Comment below, have you tried it? What do you think? Give some feedback to other guys who maybe read in the comments in terms of whether they want to get it or not, to kind of get some opinions, not just from myself. But yeah, guys, cheers for watching. And yeah, credit to VRC for this absolute masterpiece. Guys, like the video if you enjoyed. Let's try and smash over 1,000 likes. Subscribe for more daily F1 content on my channel, more Assetto Corsa mod related content as well. And as always, a massive shout out to my channel members. Guys, check out the 2 videos on the screen for more videos from myself. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Let's go back from me. Ciao, ciao.